Reserve time.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the GameShow Global Esports Cup. We're going to take a dip into the American region now, where we're going to have Root Gaming going up against Not Today. Now, this group is extremely close, as, well, everyone is pretty much tied except for T-Show, who might just be out of it right now. Haven't done the math, but that doesn't matter. Root need wins. Draws, I don't think, are really going to cut it at this stage. We'll see if they can pull that together. I'm Mikelorus. For at least the first game, going to be joined by More Rage, please. How are you doing, dude?
Radiant team ban.
In theory, he's here. Okay,
Sorry, mic muted. Easy.
There he is.
Hectic day. Excited to get into what should be a pretty well matched up group of teams here. They should be fair. I mean, Not Today probably going in as maybe a slight dog here, but looking like it should be a pretty close matchup between the two. And early on, Root Gaming's bans seem a little directed towards kind of the South American flavor of the recent meta, with that Night Stalker being removed, but still kind of standard stuff thus far.
Yeah, overall, I think more so for the South American teams than the North American teams. They do tend to favor the aggressive play style. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Spirit Breaker and Undying mixed in a little more so than usual, at least for the Not Today side. And for Root Game, we'll see what they want to do to kind of mix things up. But, for the start, I would expect maybe perhaps an IO opening. I know that in the American regions, IO perhaps a little bit less popular than in the other regions of the world, but still, it's in, and who could say no to that?
Indeed. And the Tusk opening is, yeah, definitely akin with what you were alluding to there, with the early aggression coming out, and just the aggressive, natured play style of the South American squad. So yeah, Goody going to pick that up for his side. Slardar pickup early on for Root is something that I think North America favors quite a bit, and some of Europe does as well, but generally speaking, Slardar up in the off lane. Queen mid lane is going to secure you a pretty decent laning stage, so no surprises with that one too.
We've been seeing a lot of teams experiment with Slardar over the past couple of months. He's gone from, that linchpin in the minus armor strategy, and now he's kind of more so like just a utility hero, more so just a hero for Blink Crush, who's able to blink in, get the crush, then either get the kill afterwards or just zip away with the sprint. And this is really why we see Slardar like more so now with more heavy spellcasting lineups, just so that they can get the positioning proper. Queen of Pain, not really a huge right clicker, though can sometimes be built as such. Isn't really going to be a huge payoff hero for the minus armor. Shadow Fiend is definitely a little bit more up that alley, but for Root Gaming, it's mostly just going to be that Slardar for utility's sake, and most of the time Slardars in that case go for the offlane.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, and as you mentioned it, I mean, the builds have kind of been indicative of that. I mean, generally you see kind of Treads Blink Force Staff on Slardar, and when it used to be popular and the Blink was always core, but Force Staff has been picked up a little bit more recently. So yeah, isn't really they don't really put too much on the back of the Slardar for him to carry the game, and that's why often you see him in that 3 role. So I kind of like where he is right now as a hero, and certainly is positioned well, but already Not Today with the Darkseer pickup early on. I mean, this is a hero that somewhat has fallen out of favor, but still is given quite a bit of attention, and can pick him up early in the lane. And if they don't run an aggressive duo or an offlane dual lane for Root Gaming, Not Today definitely have the freedom to run an aggressive Tri-Center around their Tusk and throw up that Darkseer 1v1 versus the Slardar, where he should fare very well. So already it feels like Not Today are pretty happy with the way things are going thus far. They're actually going to ban out the Wyvern themselves, which is a bit interesting to me. Wyvern both combos up very well with the Darkseer, and the Cold Embrace, of course, against all the physical damage from the Slardar is really helpful. So interesting to me to see them ban that out rather than pick it up.
Yeah, not interested not really super surprised to see it banned, just surprised to see it banned on the Not Today side, which really would have been amazing for them. It seems like they do have a couple of options here. They're going to eliminate the Undying, just getting rid of that option right off the bat. Offlane, dual lane, Darkseer Tusk is perhaps not as dangerous as Darkseer Spirit Breaker or Darkseer Undying, but it certainly can get to those dangerous levels. And if you're able to pressure the Slardar early on, delay his power treads, therefore also delay his Blink Dagger in every single subsequent item, then you're going to be good to go as Not Today, or just have the Tusk play as that support role. Crystal Maiden is the pickup here for the Root side, and this is fine, but it's going to be very dangerous. Darkseer is a hero that usually shoves out the wave really far, really quickly, and then that opens him and maybe some other heroes up into going and searching out the jungle, where Crystal Maiden is usually going to be farming. So Crystal Maiden, not exactly a tanky hero, can just be obliterated by the Tusk or Ember Spirit.
Yeah, certainly so. Still kind of looking for a really a well synergized combination with the Darkseer. I mean, the Sleight of Fist, of course, works very well with the Vacuum, bringing
10
together a lot of
seconds
heroes
remaining.
and units for that matter in close proximity. But looking for this lineup to get
5 seconds
really
remaining.
active when the Blink Dagger is picked up from the Darkseer, maybe treads drums or phase drums on the Ember Spirit,
Reserve time.
perhaps. Just like an early Orb of Venom, maybe a mech on the Tusk or the DS, whichever is able to pick it up beforehand, and they'll probably get really active around that 15-minute mark. Root Gaming certainly are no slouch in that early to mid-game phase, but if they starve this Slardar out of lane, and they're going to have very little initiation without weakness, and in that sense, I mean, the Queen of Pain is kind of going to be the only one with that long-range jump, so unless she builds a little bit tanky or picks up something like an Orchid to lock down this Ember Spirit, it is going to be a little bit scary for her to jump in, especially into a defensive snowball where the dire side can delay out her burst combo.
Well, we'll see what Root Gaming's pick is going to be. It's going to be the sister pairing, Crystal Maiden and Lina, both of them. Seems like they might just be both played as supports. At least Frostbite to Slardar combo is really dangerous. Add an LSA and just overall Lina's damage on top of that, and you're most likely going to be getting those kills almost every single time. Interesting to see these two being picked up. It's very rare that we see both of them together, as they actually work very well together. They're a little bit slow and a little bit clunky, and that's really just the reason why we don't see them. But if your goal is to aggressively lock down a lane, not even Darkseer can withstand up against that much damage. And if you roam towards like the mid lane, where you have, I would assume, and Queen of Pain just chilling there already, you can get some kills across the map very easily.
Yeah, definitely so. It would have comboed really nicely with the Darkseer Tusk as well for the Lina, so it feels like kind of a bit of a pick deny there. Definitely aggressive potential, Slardar, Crystal Maiden, Lina. Tons of lockdown available to them there. Good amount of burst damage. Even the right clicks from Lina will get amplified by amp damage later on, and those are pretty scary. So I do like to pick up the pure damage if she's able to get up in Aghanims at some point is nice against the Ember Spirit as well, as he does rely a bit on that Flame Guard to keep him survivable. So I like that pickup. Disruptor would have been another one that's very nice against the Ember Spirit and is something that does combo decently with the Darkseer. So I don't mind the Disruptor pickup as well, and I feel like it can definitely help them start to ramp up this early aggression.
Not today, going for a little bit more of a team fighty route, it seems. I mean, as far as late game carry is concerned, Ember Spirit does do a pretty good job, but really needs a lot of space being created for him. And then we have Root Gaming grabbing that Huskar. It seems like Not Today may have just drafted themselves into this, well, pretty standard corner where Huskar, if he is picked up, is just going to wreck you. This is not going to mean that it's an instant win for Root. It's just going to mean that if this hero does not have a lot of physical damage, then it's going to be a little problematic for the Not Today side. I suppose it's. I mean, I don't know what. It kind of has to be like an Ember Spirit safe lane. They need like a. They needed a Wind Ranger in the pool. Ancient Apparition, it's too late for that. Is Huskar just going to win them the game straight up?
Yeah, it seems like a really good situation for him. I mean, on paper, I guess they have one more core to pick up towards that mid lane. I mean, Alchemist kind of stands out to me at this point. Early Solar Crest could be really nice against the Huskar, and the late game potential of Root is, I don't want to say too intimidating. So I feel like if they're able to kind of shut down this Huskar, I mean, Huskar has really, I mean, his glaring weakness is his inability to flash farm and create enough farm to keep relevant throughout the late game. So he does really feast on fights, and certainly at first glance, Not Today is building a lineup that wants to fight, but with an Ember Spirit and with the last core maybe being a little bit farm heavy, they could probably drag this one out. So if they're able to avoid fights, and they're certainly decently good at it with Disruptor, perhaps, and the defensive Snowball for that matter, and even the Surge from the Darkseer, perhaps they're able to extend this towards the late game stage. But I feel like if they are going to want to fight early, Alchemist is probably the only pick you go here. Towards that mid lane and get him an early Solar Crest. They're going to pick up some heavy physical damage and certainly a snowball-y type hero in the LC. But yeah, fighting into this lineup early seems a little scary for me for Not Today.
Yeah, I mean, you can try to avoid fights for the entire game, but with a Slardar and a Huskar, Root, they can't farm for shit. Like, they will just be forced to go aggressive, try to get the kills every single time. and they're eventually going to be forcing the issue. The real downside here for Root is that they can get the kills very easily, but they can't take the tower super easily. But they can take kills so decisively that the towers kind of fall as kind of an afterthought, then it might not even matter for the Root Gaming side. This is going to be a defensive game from Not Today, and really, I'm pretty sure they would have rather liked to take this game at their own pace, as a team would ordinarily like to do, but it is going to be Root Gaming pretty much as soon as they get this Huskar, his armlet, rotating him out, with Slardar probably getting the blink, not too soon after the armlet, but, eventually afterwards. Then things get really dangerous for Not Today's side. We'll see if this Huskar pick is one where it's just going to almost guarantee Root win this game, as if you're not prepared for a Huskar, you might just instantly lose, no matter what other heroes you have.
Yeah, indeed. So it'll be interesting to see if Root gets off their feet. They're going to be playing over on the Radiant side for now. 747 or Live for Your Love is going to pick up that Huskar, and we'll see how well he fares. He's going to go towards the mid lane with Stanking right now. We're going to have Mr. Drizzy Drake or Fountain Commander picking up the Slardar, in the off lane. And finally, over in that safe lane, all in for the Dream, no idea who that is right now, is going to be pick up the Queen of Pain with Derp joining the Huskar on the Lina.
All right, for Not Today, we got DDX. Actually has a proper tag as the Darkseer. CL should be Ewo on the Ember Spirit. Goody is going to be playing the Disruptor over on the Tusk. Got Schofield, and then Alma is on the Legion Commander. Not sure if that's who it's supposed to be.
I feel like Alma is a stand-in, but everyone else looks like Not Today members.
Do some research. Do some research. Hopefully Steam is going to show us some knowledge here. Array. He's actually tagged up as Ewo. And who the hell is this guy?
Let me take a quick. Let me dig in here. So Alma.
Cristiano. Okay, so they're just.
Alma is Evo actually. Alma is Evo. Yeah. So he's playing on the LC, and Cristiano towards the mid lane. I feel like Cristiano's been playing for them, and he's been pretty flexible. Although generally we would see Evo on his Ember Spirit. It's kind of a signature hero. Cristiano's been pretty flexible and always picks up the Wind Ranger towards mid. So maybe they're just trying that lane permanently. For him for now, and he is gonna have a rough time versus the Burning Spears in mid lane.
Yeah, it's like Flame Guard, nice Flame Guard, bro. Huskar's got more fire than you can handle, and well, even handling both these heroes, Schofield is here to occasionally poke and prod at the Huskar, and Huskar level 1 is a very, very weak hero. He can put out a lot of damage, but as far as trading hits, not as much so. So yeah, this is gonna be a opening for Not Today to really slow down the 747 Huskar, but aside from that, I mean, Live for Your Love should just have this lane almost completely on lockdown. As far as Ember Spirit is concerned, I don't really think there's any point where it gets a lot easier for him. Towards top lane though, Goody's gonna hit with LSA, free hand. Crush is gonna follow up, right clicks as well. Snowball not leveled up just yet. The shards are needed, but it's too late. Derp's ready to draws the kill, and then a two-man LSA to secure the escape from Fountain Commander. Perhaps shards will block him. And now he's in a 2v1. He has a crush. He will only land it, however, onto one hero. He's gonna run straight past everyone. And it looks like he'll be fine because Derp is here again with an LSA, again with two heroes. They're going to draw the aggro, and the aggro is actually going to go onto the Tusk. Here comes the Disruptor, however, Lightning Strike on the Slardar. That will not kill him off. He's going to slip right around the field. Another two-man LSA from Derp. And shards are going to fly. Fountain Commander now stuck and is going to finally go down. Goody, however, sitting in tower range. Is this going to be a kill for the Lina? It seems like it will. Yes, Derp gets like 6 heroes connected with that LSA, only 2 minutes in, and gets 2 kills off of it. Yeah, they lose the Slardar, but that is super expensive for Not Today.
I feel like Derp probably should have bought a bottle before they TP back the Slardar into lane, able to regen himself up. But yeah, it's 900 gold on this Lina all of a sudden. 2-1, 2 minutes in, and things going really well for this duel off lane already. Whereas they certainly would have wanted their Legion to be farming pretty well in this situation. But being dual melee up against a Lina who has been this accurate with her Light Strike arrays is definitely not going to bode well for you thereafter. And Disruptor definitely not considered really the scariest laning presence early on.
And this is just 2 heroes for Root. Like, I would expect maybe that to happen should the Crystal Maiden also be in the area. She is, well, kind of taking all the high value creeps out of this camp, but she's jungling for the most part. And of course that mana regeneration is really, really going to help out, well, pretty much everyone on her team, minus the Huskar, I suppose, but definitely top lane where they're just able to constantly throw out those Dragon Slaves, occasionally just fish for damage value crushes. Crystal Maiden is very safely jungling right now, and Queen of Pain going up against the Darkseer, could probably make use of the help provided by the Crystal Maiden to just go ahead and kill off the Darkseer, but at the same time, Sand King is in such a safe position that he can just jungle in this camp forever, and no one is really going to stop him.
Yeah, indeed, and he's going to find quite a bit of farm, so Should be nice. Of course, can't really stifle the Queen of Pain's farm at all, which is certainly a little bit of a concern. I mean, we see eHome really one of the only teams that kind of runs a safe lane quad, but when C2I does, he really gets a lot of momentum under his feet. And right now, not being contested at all certainly bodes well. And the Slardar, not necessarily finding farm, but going to be finding levels with all the trades occurring in this top lane is going to help them out in that sense as well. So I feel like they can certainly get active pretty early. Whereas they're at least kind of dependent on maybe a Blink Legion and a mech from either their Darkseer or any other of the two supports. So yeah, I feel like leaving this Queen of Pain completely unattended is certainly worrisome, but I'm not sure exactly what they could do to shuffle their lanes to really pressure her.
Well, I mean, mid lane's gonna need some help as well. Like, this Huskar is completely zoning out the Ember Spirit. They'll land shards onto 2 up towards top lane. Derp is trapped. He already used the LSA, Snowball's there, plus the overwhelming odds to grab the kill. Down Commander does not have another crush to help out. He should not fall, but that's a pretty big kill on the Lina, just trapping her in that corner, and that's really the downside of Root. They, yes, do have the Crystal Maiden who's just jungling away, but of course that makes the other lanes a lot weaker. She may go up towards the top lane now, level 3, and she's actually a higher level than the Slardar right now, so it seems like a pretty good time for the Crystal Maiden to make this rotation out, though it does seem like she would rather go for the Ember Spirit. She's instead going to deny the Bounty Rune. Should be a little bit of annoyance there towards the Ember Spirit, but yeah, the Ember definitely needs the help. The Darkseer is doing fine, but up towards top lane. Ewo's going to drop super low, but instead they're going to try to go for Goody. There's another LSA plus level 2 Dragon Slave, and Goody's not running at a great angle right now. A couple more right clicks will do it, although there's another sprint available. Run, Raptor, run. Goody's going to put the field.
From the high ground? No, yeah, Ewo doesn't get into range. He just had it cool down, and yeah, now Goody actually is going to make it out. So yeah, Sleight of Fist Searing Chain's not there, but could have ran in perhaps for the Searing Chains. Cristiano was very low on mana though, so I feel like maybe if he clicks on the mid lane or even asks Stand King over in the mid lane, the Slardar can keep chasing there. But either way, they force him out of lane, and it's not like Ewo was really farming at all during the meantime.
That's a pretty big kill on the Huskar, however. I assume that was just a snowball in to just beat down with right clicks. Huskar, at this point, only 1 armor, is not exactly super tanky versus physical right clicks at all, and he really does need a Helm of Iron Will if he's going to survive that next time. But still, aside from that kill for the Ember Spirit, and that is very nice from him, of course, he's just getting dominated in lane. Up towards top lane, they're going to set up again. It will not be enough to kill off Ewo just yet. Founding Commander going to try to go for this kill. He doesn't have a crush again to get this kill. He'll use it, and now Ewo has a free chance to run back in. It's the Lina a little bit too soft in this top lane, and it is going to be the Not Today side to actually edge out now a lead, even after having lost a couple heroes to this Lina to begin with. Now she's 2-2, and she's, well, very soft. As much damage as Lina puts out, her weakness is that she is just that fragile. The lanes are starting to balance themselves out somewhat here from Not Today.
Yeah, and she did gather up that level 3 after the early skirmish with the 2 kills, so hasn't made any progression in the way of experience since then, any significant progression at all, and only picking up the boots. She pretty much has the net worth that she gained there early on. So yeah, it seemed like these lanes would go pretty well early on, but even the Slardar forced to TP back. Is going to have to sprint to lane now, and DDX, as you mentioned, completely free farming, sitting on his level 6 and has a soul ring, so can continue to just spam out these waves, push them under the tower, and eventually find enough farm to pick up either a mech or a blink. And this is, as we alluded to in the draft, a pretty good early fighting lineup, so things not looking quite as in Root's favor. I mean, really the only place that you would feel like they're kind of ahead is this mid lane, but still the Huskar sitting atop the net worth chart.
Yeah, the Huskar is, I mean, he has so many denies. Like, 27 denies is an absolutely insane amount, especially versus your mid lane opponent. Now, down towards bottom lane, DDX. He's going to try to teleport away. Frostbite. Oh, seems like they didn't quite see him, although I don't really think they could have gotten in range anyway. And that is going to be a narrow escape up towards top lane. Ember Spirit is getting his ass kicked by neutrals. However, he's going to end up beating them because he's a hero and the neutrals are only bears. But yeah, still, in the meantime, there's no pressure being applied to this Huskar outside that 1 kill. And now the armlet is completed. The Slardar is nowhere close to being able to consider going for a Blink Dagger just yet. He's just not getting enough farm. But still, Armlet Huskar, and just with aggressive playstyle in of itself, he could pretty much make YOLO dives in every single time. Unless there's a lot of response there from Not Today, I would expect a hero to die almost every single time a life break is used.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, you can dunk, like if you get connected with the Searing Chains, you can dunk and dispel them. So if he baits those out and jumps in, I mean, there's really very few ways to deal with this Huskar early on. I mean, the defensive snowball could be there perhaps, and maybe a surge, but if he gets an LSA on top, mid lane though, speaking of which, he's going to pop off the armlet, he gets Searing Chains up, he's going to pop the Innervit, turn back for now, And he will have Stan King rotating in. He's going to catch the Nova on 2. The dunk is there. They're going to Remnant Cristiano out and chase forward continually with the Huskar. Should be able to bring down the Sigil pretty easily with a couple stacks of Berserker's Blood there. He has the glimpse on Goody. It's only level 1 though. Very short range jump forward on for the Dream. He's going to catch him with the Scream and the Shadow Strike. The Dragon Slave though will whiff from the low ground. The Shadow Strike should probably take him out here. And actually is maybe only level 1 from the Queen of Pain.
Deny. Bam.
Yeah, only
so
level
good
1.
when you're able to kill your allies like that.
Especially if they're bad. But
they're always bad. They're never ever good. But yeah, it is going to be, Huskar playing aggressively with the armlet. They end up pulling off the Disruptor, not necessarily in the way that they would like Lena's Dragon Slave. Unfortunately, just not quite enough range on that tool to get that kill, but still it's a massive all-out brawl over in mid lane. Of course, that frees up the other heroes in the side lanes to get a little bit more. DDX is still hanging around this bottom lane, and the Slaughter is here as well. Slaughter desperately needs the farm, however, needs his power treads, needs that Blink Dagger over towards mid. They also need this Huskar not to die. He'll just go straight for his scroll field. He'll get the kill immediately. No, arm toggling is not actually going to use that at all. Huskar will just die to that. So it's a 1-for-1 trade. That's fine for not today. They're looking for the CM now. Level 2 Glimpse, not quite in range. Goody's going real deep for that one. He will not find it. Interesting to see him actually go for that second point in Thunderstrike.
It's a really ballsy dive mid lane there from 747, and he gets punished for it. They don't really have too much vision. They have the high ground ward on their side of the river, which gives them just that no one was directly behind the Tusk. I mean, but that tier 1 being there, you got to expect TP rotations coming in, and with no support behind you, with a hero like Tusk who can snowball and delay for a couple of seconds, it's not going to be the quick, clean kill that you expect. And top lane now, Queen of Pain. Gonna be aggressed on, and she is going to catch the snowball from the fog. The Walrus Punch is there as well. They get the overwhelming odds off. They're going to have vision from the Thunderstrike, though. Glimpse back duel is ready and will be popped off. Sonic Wave brings down the Disruptor in the meantime, but Ewo finds his first duel win on the Legion Commander, and it certainly feels worth it losing that Disruptor, but unfortunate casualty in the meantime. Still, though, that's going to mean that Sonic Wave's on the sideline for the next 2 minutes.
It's nice for Queen of Pain to get something before she dies, but ultimately the trade is still beneficial for the Not Today side, especially since this Legion Commander 1-0-3 now is her kill score, is level 7, and with the first stack of dual damage, it is certainly not going to go amiss. The big thing is that she has 1,500 gold, so I would assume a Blink Dagger is first for the Legion Commander. If the Huskar is unable to use Life Break to start those fights, or if Root are just not able to start the fights at all in their own terms because Legion Commander is always blinking and assassinating like the Lina or the Crystal Maiden, then things get a lot more difficult for the Huskar. It's still possible for him to go off because it's a Huskar with not many answers, but Legion Commander is the only hero who has the answers, and she's the hero who's getting the most farm for Not Today. So things are lining up pretty well for Not Today, at least as far as the anti-Huskar train is concerned. Now they're going to actually go towards the bottom lane. They are completely spotted, and they know that they're spotted, so it seems like nothing should happen here.
Yeah, things are going to stagnate for the next little bit. So it looks pretty good for Root at this point. The Huskar picking up the lifesteal now is going to help him out a bit, and hopefully 747 is a little more calculated about his jumps, has some people behind him. Mid lane, or bot lane I should say though, DDX looking to bait himself out a bit, and Goody is rotating in. Well, they are going to find...
Huskar just going to die solo to the Ember Spirit? What the hell? There was a life break used there. I assume the Huskar just overcommitted, but it was just the Ember Spirit there. That's not really a kill that Root are supposed to lose. Now they're going to snowball in towards Stan King, although Schofield, he had the shards and Walrus Punch, could have easily gotten the kill. It's going to take a lot longer to get the kill, and he won't even get it because the Lina's able to TP in. I'm not really sure why he didn't go and just get the kill.
Yeah, it's odd to see him turn, and unfortunate bounce on the shards there as well. But yeah, if he instantly pops the Walrus Punch and then the shards, he's fine. Gets the kill more than likely. Maybe feeds a return kill, but regardless, would have got it cleanly and not taken as much damage. 2-man crush, bot or 1-man onto DDX, and 747 is going to find the right clicks, and the Burning Spears will take out the Darkseer. We're in a little bit of trouble though. Jersey Drake is going to find that crush and will bring down Goody. In the meantime, Thunderstrike will not finish him off. So nice 2-for-0 going their way bot lane, but it's very concerning early on. 3 deaths onto 747. I mean, this is really with your early armlet and your lifesteal where you want to be getting your Huskar very active and want to be accruing him quite a bit of a lead at this point. So this is still kind of boding well overall across the map for the Dire side, especially considering that their Darkseer has found a pretty good amount of farm before going down here. He has both the Buckler and the Headdress available, so actually was extremely close to a full mech at the time he dies, but will be there soon. Yeah, Snowball going to be popped up, and blink away 1300 range is there. The shards are going to catch 2 though, and the remnant forward. Searing Chains onto 2. The duel is onto the south side, and it'll isolate up the Crystal Maiden. Meanwhile, Cristiano getting very low, gets a nice sleight of fist off. They'll be able to bring down 2 in the meantime. 2 for 2 thus far, and Stan King probably going to take out here to the Thunderstrike. The Huskar finally joining the fray, maybe a little bit too little too late though. They don't have a Blink Dagger to chase forward. Goody though is scouted, of course, by the Amp Damage, trying to juke into the fog, and the Static Storm will be there. He'll be brought down, but with the wall and the Static Storm Kinetic Field, maybe DDX is able to turn this. The Slardar getting low, he will be able to make it out to the east, and now manning up is the Huskar. He'll be able to bring him down. Triple kill, and this is more of what you want to see if you're Root Gaming at this time. It ends up being a 5 for 2 in their favor, and just a really nice split early on from the Dire side, but they don't actually end up bursting down one of those targets quickly enough, and the Radiant get too much of their toolkit off, and they're able to get a real favorable engagement out of it with the Huskar coming to play cleanup crew.
I mean, it's nice for the Legion Commander to jump in, but locking down a Crystal Maiden, who at this point, I guess, does have maxed out Nova. I thought she was going to max out Arcane Aura, so never mind. But, you know, the enemy of that nuke is not bad, but she was unable to actually get the kill on the Crystal Maiden. She did do a little bit of damage over that fight. You would expect to instantly get a kill with your Legion Commander. Outside of that, the Sonic Wave was pretty much over everyone, and it was not today pretty much just voluntarily walking into a funnel area and Queen of Pain having the proper position. So that was Root on the responsive, and they're actually going to find the Ember Spirit right now. Derp is going to completely botch his LSA. Not like it really would have mattered. They don't have enough lockdown to get a kill anyway. But yeah, the Slardar survives, the Huskar survives. That's going to be Helm of the Dominator. That's going to be Blink Dagger up. That Blink Dagger was nowhere near completion, but now it's surviving with a 3-1-3 score. Slardar does have that. And now they have the ability to initiate and counter-initiate versus the Legion Commander. They're going to start, of course, with going for this Tier 1. And now is a really sticky situation for Not Today. Their laning phase didn't go terribly. That one fight is going to cost them a lot of momentum, and it's going to cost them at least a couple of towers.
Yeah, we're going to see perhaps if they're able to flank mid, but it's already... The Radiant are already kind of weary of that, and they're going to back off for now with the tower still outside of deny range. So well played by them. They're going to put up a high ground ward here, and they have a 3-man smoke behind Cristiano and DDX. So full 5-man lineup here, but everyone's kind of retreated on the Root side, and do have their tier 1 as a bastion of defense here, so they can even TP in some of these heroes from bottom. The Slardar are currently not carrying one. The Lina and the Crystal Maiden do have one, however. So they certainly can mount a defense if they wish to do so. They have that refreshed glyph after dropping the tier 1 bottom. Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains mid lane, and they're going to blink in for the duel. They find a quick kill onto the Crystal Maiden. Cristiano taking a lot of damage. Jump forward crush is going to be dodged by the Remnant jump out, and the Frostbite will be purged by that press the attack from Ewo. So Burning Spears taking Cristiano low. He gets the regen rune off after they expire, and will be able to jump right back into this one after finding a clean pick on a lot of the damage output of the Radiant side in that Queen of Pain.
The weird thing about that fight was that Root saw that. They have an observer ward right around the corner, so they saw absolutely everyone from Not Today, their exact position, and they just didn't expect them that they were going to make that move, I think. Like, that's the only scenario I see where they see everyone, they're like, okay, not a big deal, we can handle this, and then Ember Spirit jumps in, Legion Commander jumps in from a very long range, and suddenly you can't handle that anymore. Queen of Pain is not that tanky. 1000 HP isn't terrible necessarily, but still, you saw them coming. You should have been able to avoid that fight almost completely for the Root side. They're going to smoke up with the Two Sisters and Slardar, and they're actually going to get a wraparound on Ewo, but Ewo, well, he's going to blink out. He does not know that the enemies are right around the corner. However, Blink Crush can land. There it is. Amplified damage with the blink in. They have a Sonic Wave if needed. Definitely not needed. They'll kill off the Legion Commander very easily. Now they're going to go for the Disruptor. With the Sonic Wave available, they may be able to catch up to him. They're not. The Slardar is back, though, and he has another Blink Crush. And it's going to go straight towards Goody. There's the Blink Crush. Ember Spirit's right around the corner, but he can't actually defend it in time. Sonic Wave will cut through only onto the Ember, as the Disruptor's already dead. TP canceled now, as Ember Spirit's actually going to jump away. However, he's going to jump towards the Roche Pit. DDX is going to run into the Huskar right now. Deep dive after him, and DDX is going to try to TP out. That's not going to work ever. Huskar is going to ground down the Darkseer, and that's going to be 3 kills now for Root, plus another tower.
Yeah, so a couple of questionable plays there from the Dire side. I'm not sure if Goody was quite in range when they initiated on the Legion, but if he was, he definitely should have popped his Static Storm there, had it available. He may have just TP'd into the tower a little bit too late, but if he was there, the Legion Commander had to press the attack to remove the amp damage and an Invis rune, and could have certainly re-engaged afterwards, but either way, they end up just losing that quickly and then losing the Disruptor thereafter, and then even the Darkseer, I mean, felt like could have TP'd out, and even after all that, they're going to find the Tusk bottom as well. So the Huskar finally starting to gain this momentum that he's so desperately needed, and he's already picked up a Sange on top of the H-Dom and the Armlet, and has had 2,400 gold on top of that. That'll be the talisman to complete up his Halberd 17 minutes in.
This is going to be a really fat Huskar, and again, this is the draft that Not Today have kind of put themselves into. The Legion Commander has some decent physical damage, can in theory kill off a Huskar, but I don't know if she can actually win a duel with the Huskar. That's just not going to happen unless she has a lot of help. Ember Spirit has no physical damage output right now. Is going to go for the Battle Theory, so he will have some down the line, but this Huskar is just so monstrously huge right now. He has a decent amount of armor, and I'm sure he's going to be going for more, but also evasion on top of that.
Yeah.
This guy is huge, and he's just going to go batter down this bottom tier 1. He's going to heal himself, pop the arm with DDX. He's going to try to man-fight him. Static Storm is finally going to drop. Duel is still available, but they don't really want to give damage to the Huskar. They have everyone here. Huskar is all alone. They will finally bring him down. The backup from Root, I thought it was coming in, but it seems like they just hesitated a little bit too long. They will miss the crush on the Ember Spirit. Frostbite him down. They have a freezing field, and they're going to blow him up. Crystal Maiden still channeling that ultimate, and Evil's going to jump right into it. She's still channeling. Thunderstrike should get this kill in the end as DDX, or Schofield rather, charged in. He's going to throw the shards. Will latch on the Crystal Maiden, but it won't do damage for some reason. Snowball will. With the vacuum back, they'll grab those kills. Ewok now going to jump in. All in for the Dream's going to pick off the Husk in the meantime. Has now a fresh Sonic Wave from the backline. Going to look for the Laguna Blade, kill on the Legion Commander. 3-man Sonic Wave from the Queen of Pain is going to grab 2 kills. Blink Crush on the DDX will finish him off. And Root take a 4v5 and come out on top.
Stuck around way too long. They expended way too much to bring down the Huskar. They should have took that pick off and ran with it. That is the most valuable hero in the game. You just brought him down. You defend your tier 1. You know that's a lot of their damage output, and their cooldowns are coming off. You get the hell out of there, if you ask me. Another thing I kind of wanted to ask you is, you have the Surge from the Darks here. You have the Glimpse. You have the Ember Spirit initiations as well. As a Legion Commander here, is this a Shadowblade into Silver Edge game versus the Huskar over the Blink?
It just might be. Obviously, she's going for Blade Mail, so it's not going to be, no, it's not going to be in the future. But Blink Dagger versus, I guess, like the Crystal Maiden, the Lina, that's really good still. But yeah, you have so much value of the Silver Edge upgrade, and just like the extra damage you get from breaking the Invis, really, like that is a substantial amount of damage versus the Huskar. And then being able to break off that the Berserker's Blood, rather.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the preferable build. It is slightly more expensive, so there might be that to consider. Elo just wanted to get active as soon as possible, and for that reason, I think that this Blink Dagger is kind of justified. But overall, if given the choice, like you really want to have a Silver Edge. You really want to be able to break him.
Yeah, I don't think it really. I mean, it definitely stifles your initiation power a little bit, but I don't think it's enough to warrant it. Yeah, I mean, right now the Huskar are looking really good, especially now that they've picked up the Solar Crest. I love this build from Derp, kind of sacrificing his own progression, but just going to put all the eggs into the Huskar basket, and right now it's certainly paying dividends for them. And the Queen of Pain is quietly finding her own farm. She's got an Orchid and a Point Booster, and they really aren't giving her enough attention in these team fights, kind of just dropping all their ultimates on the Huskar, hoping to bring him down early. She's been able to do some work from the sideline, so love this build overall, especially with the medallion on the other side for the Tusk, and feels like the Radiant have a firm grasp on things at this point in the game. Of course, as aforementioned, towards the late game, feels like the Dire should have quite a bit of an upper hand, but now Root already looking to continue to assert their dominance here and take advantage of what they've gained thus far. They're going to jump into the pit. 5-man smoke. Sigil is going to scout them almost immediately, but with the Huskar and the amp damage, they bring this down very quickly. We'll see if they're willing to stick around for this one. They're not going to put too many in the pit, as of course the Static Storm and the Vacuum really help out the pit fight at the Dire side. So they're going to respect that and just leave their Huskar in there, and they should be able to continue to fight. Nice Vacuum 3 into a Static Storm, but the Kinetic Field doesn't latch on anyone. The Walrus Punch will bring down Stanking. Sonic Wave, Laguna Blade is going to finish off the Tusk, and now they get to find the Crush onto Cristiano. They jump forward with the Life Break. They'll bring down the Ember Spirit on the east side. The Queen of Pain finishes off the Disruptor. And this is why they're more than willing to stick around the pit at this point. They just have far too much of an advantage for really the Dire to contest without a great ultimate. And the Vacuum Static Storm combo was just a bit off here. Orchid top lane onto Ewo. They're going to just chase him away with the Queen of Pain. And they get the Aegis on top of a very favorable team fight. They only lose the Crystal Maiden. And now they have an extra life for their Huskar if he wasn't hard enough to kill in the first place.
Classic only Crystal Maiden to die move there from Root, because always it's the Crystal Maiden to die. But yeah, I mean, that was so close to being a perfect team fight there from Not Today. if they had the field actually go up in time, then they could have just cleaned house. Those two heroes automatically dead. Huskar, may or may not have gotten the Aegis or even a couple of kills afterwards, but just having that failed combo there, letting Root slip away from that Static Storm, from the wall damage, and of course these illusions as well. And it is going to be, well, they're prepping for bottom lane. They're not going to go for it. It will be the Root side to claim a pretty big win. Again, that was, for the most part, 4v5. It was generally just the Queen of Pain who, again, had a Sonic Wave at an angle that was not today in a funnel. Now, this time it was in the funnel of this staircase, and it doesn't really matter. It's a cone shape, and that's exactly what the Sonic Wave is as well. So she's chucking him out every single time, where not today are just lining up for it. And outside of that, they also saved the Crush for a pretty long time to actually lock down the Ember Spirit, and he is a hero who needs to be surviving in order to build up damage. He does have the Claymore, which isn't bad, but you need a lot more than that, since Huskar has health and then some, 27 gold rather, on top of his 2200 HP with the armlet turned on. So Satanic potentially going to be the next item for Huskar, but for right now, Smoke is up. Stan King, oh, not like this. They're going to jump in, duel instead onto the Slardar. This probably will get them duel damage. Huskar's going to jump right into the Blade Mail, do a lot of damage to himself, but will get the kill on the Leech Commander in the end. Now, Channel Freezing Field will be canceled by Stan King, but Schofield's going to get left behind. And it's going to be a 2-for-1 trade. Again, this trade is perfectly fine for Root, since Queen of Pain and Huskar are both surviving. And Slardar, even though he's an important hero to have, he's more so that utility initiator, not the damage output. So they could just go ahead and go for this tier 2 tower with, well, now the fresh Satanic.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of unfortunate timing for the Dire side there. They did want to fight. They just picked up the Mechanism. They just picked up the Blade Mail. They had the wherewithal to bring down the Huskar and then sustain themselves through it and continue fighting, but just having their initiation totally thwarted. They don't get the Mechanism off at all on those first two heroes. I mean, the Static Storm is, once again, kind of underwhelming. Just catches really the Slardar and kind of the edge of the Huskar as he jumps into it, but he felt more than tanky enough to jump in, and he certainly was warranted in that, and does bring down the LC, and both this Ember and LC feel very, very underfarmed at this point. I mean, 747 is standing on the high ground. Solar Crest up. They're going to jump in and duel him. The LSA will be there with the Laguna Blade. They'll give damage over to the Huskar. He'll start right-clicking into Schofield. They cannot bring him down for the life of them. The vacuum is nice into the wall, but the follow-up is completely absent, and the Burning Spears will tick down DDX as well. Sleight of Fist at this point is pretty much tickling the Dire lineup, and the first racks and maybe even the game going to be dropping here at 25 minutes in. Dunk forward from 747. Remnant out. Ember Spirit going to keep himself safe. And he will get glimpsed back.
By the way.
Yeah. And, I mean, Satanic's up in 5 seconds. He's just going to TP out with the Halberd there. Keep himself safe. Farm a little bit top lane. Why not? 3,200 gold up on the 747. First lane of racks down. 25 minutes in. Cost them absolutely nothing. Not even an Aegis.
Now you dump everything you have into the Huskar, and it's just not enough. This guy is 12-4 and 2 at this stage. And, well, they lost Raxes 25 minutes in. It's a pretty early point in time to lose Raxes, and for Root, I'm pretty sure they're just not going to let up with this pressure. Still, there's tier 2s in the side lane, so they can't immediately go in and win, but after having lost that fight now, like, Legion Commander has 48 gained damage. That's actually a decent amount for 25 minutes in. That's very, very high. The problem is that that's about all they have. If they have one good team fight where they have all their spells landing properly, they could very easily claim a victory out from Root and kill off the Huskar, definitely once at the very least. Ideally that happens for them after the Aegis times out, but it just seems like the wall Static Storm field combos just aren't going to be landing today from not today. So without that, I don't know how they actually kill off everyone else from Root, let alone this Huskar.
Battle Fury finally comes out for the Ember Spirit 26 minutes in. It's certainly not going to feel like enough, and it doesn't feel like they're going to be alleviating the pressure at all. Speaking of which, top lane, glimpse back onto the Queen of Pain, Orchid onto Goody. Illusions coming through, Soulburn is there, force forward, blink forward, crush, one more right click. And they will be able to bring down the Disruptor. Meanwhile, the Tusk brought down as well. 747 going to pick up the last hit on that one. And he should have an item flying out to him very soon here. Yep, it's going to be the AC, so that's going to help ramp up the push even more so than it already has been.
CL also.
And yeah, that's a big target to bring down. So 55 seconds on the sideline, does have buyback, freshly picked up Battle Fury, but I mean, he cannot mount this defense alone. They're going to need, once again, I mean, a big ultimate combo from the Darkseer and Disruptor, and they really haven't been there, and perhaps it's just to the play of Root. They've been well spread out and just kind of thrown this Huskar as the battering ram in the front lines, and not today have bit the bait more than often, thinking they can bring down the Huskar quick enough to just accrue themselves a numbers advantage in the team fight, but he lasts way too long. and the counter initiation has been present and effective from Root Gaming. Meanwhile, Walrus Punch from Schofield on the creeps. Shows you kind of the state of the game right now from the Tusk. Tier 3 going to be dropping here, and amp damage is up onto Ero. We'll see if he jumps in. He's going to press the attack. And won't Blade Mail up or blink forward. Huskar still standing on the front lines. Jump forward. Static Storm is not going to land onto anyone pretty much. Vacuum Back only brings in the Crystal Maiden. Meanwhile, they blink forward on the Slardar and the Queen of Pain, bringing the Tusk really low. Cristiano's going to drop to 747. The Freezing Field is the GG dance coming out, and the duel's going to be there from Ewo, and he's going to lose it once again. So why not end with a little more damage on the Radiant side? Easy win, and yeah, once every 100 games, we see this 5th pick Huskar come out. And yeah, it's a hero who's in a very unique place. He just seems to dumpster some games, and other games is completely ineffective. So this time, Root going to pick him up in a very advantageous situation, and kudos to them for the recognition there, and they'll make it work. Even though he kind of had a little bit of struggle very early on, 747 gets a lot of momentum, ends up 16-4, 700 plus GPM and XPM, and easy game, easy life for Root.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you have to always be careful of. If you're going to highly prioritize the Ember Spirit as a pick or the Gyrocopter as their pick, then you're typically going to run into situations where you need a Shadow Fiend or something like that on your side if you're really going to be able to kill off a Huskar. Wind Ranger also not a bad one. Guys, this is just game 1 in the best of 2. Root Gaming going to take one game very easily over Not Today. Put themselves at a 1-0 lead. We're going to be switching streamers in between games 1 and 2, so the stream will go down for just a little bit. Don't picnic, it'll be up soon enough. Rage will be at the helm, probably joined by Grandis, but for myself, I'm Mikelorus, I'm signing out. If you enjoyed the cast, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Mikelorus, for myself, at mrpdota for my co-caster, and well, they will continue onwards. I'm going to get ready for the all-night haul in the Chinese games. I'll see you later, guys.
GG.